Yeah. I filmed everyone in it.
Alright, so hi everyone. I just wanted to pull together a meeting of the campus rec staff, specifically the people who work down at the intramural fields. This is just kind of like our monthly meeting to kind of see how things go and like basically any business changes that we can make. So first off, I just want to say congrats to all the rec staff. We had another great year down here at the intramural fields. We had great numbers. We had all of our normal events, and then we also had the field was actually rented out more times this year than normal, and that's always good because it always drums up business. Excuse me. We had all of our injuries reported, so thank you for the campus rec staff for taking the correct procedures, filling out the reports, and then also like calling the ambulance when you need to, and calling other supervisors, and just making sure all of our customers are safe. Likewise, there were also no huge risk management issues like last year when we had a tree fall down and it broke part of the fence. We couldn't use half of our field last year, so that being said, nothing like that happened, all thanks to you guys. And then also, we just want to say thank you to our graduating seniors. As you know, we always have a senior set-off, which will be later in the year. And I just wanted to personally thank you for your service. Alright, so the real reason I have you guys here today is that, as you know, we all have a new professional staff this year, and a bunch of changes are being made. And the real reason for this is because of the budget cuts to the university. It's not only happening to the rec center, but it's happening basically to the university as a whole. Some changes that are going to have to be made this year are that the fields are obviously they're closing for the winter from Thanksgiving break to around spring break time. Again, obviously that's a normal thing that we do, and after that is actually when these changes are going to start to take place. These changes are more for some of them are starting next semester, more for like the long term. And some of the changes that are going to be made is that unfortunately you guys are going to have less shifts next semester. Again, these kind of all go back to kind of saving money for the rec center, and so obviously if you guys aren't down there, we can't pay you, and that obviously means more money for the rec center. And the only ways we're gonna staff the intramural fields is that if there's a rented out event down there, or if there's like intramurals going on or anything like that. That's the only time that we're going to have staff. Unfortunately, this has to be, like I said, because of the budget cuts, and there's also some like risk management issues that go on along with it, which we'll always take care of like once those pop up later in the semester. Those are more, like I said, the short-term changes that we're going to have. The long-term changes that are primarily going to take place next year is that the intramural or complex supervisor actually isn't going to have a job title anymore. In case, for those of you who don't know, there are the intramural complex supervisors, and then the intramural supervisors and the referees that we all have down there, and they're all different groups of kind of different employees, and we're just going to basically like fuse it all into one general like staff. And that also goes back to saving money, just because we might have less people staffed, or different people can work different shifts and just things like that. So I wanted to present you guys with a business plan today. If you want to take a look at the outline or thing that I made here, you can take it and pass it around. So, some improvements that we can have or what I'd like to ask myself is how can we combat these budget cuts and make sure that things stay back to normal? These options, like I said, range from the short-term changes that we're going to have compared to the long-term changes that we're going to have. One of the short-term things that we are going to start to implement is that we're going to start selling drinks and snacks down in the box at the intramural fields. I know a lot of our staff have like reported that basically patrons have came up and just be like, oh, you guys can concession stand, and just like, no, but there's a vending machine out that way. But we're gonna turn our intramural, we call it the box, into a concession stand, and all those profits are gonna come back for the intramural fields. And once all those sales go up, that's gonna be a great way to kind of like create revenue for the intramural fields. The second thing that we're going to do is that we are going to start selling day passes down at the intramural fields. As you may or may not know, the only places that day passes are sold are up at the campus rec center, right by the student union. So, and every day pass that's sold down there is actually going to go back, or all the profit from that is actually going to go back to the intramural fields. And again, that's just another way to create profit, because most of the time when people go to the intramural fields to have a day pass, and they want to buy a day pass down there, they don't necessarily want to go down to the intramural fields and then go all the way across campus to the rec center. And so, like I said, the profits of that are just going to stay right there for the intramural fields. Another thing that we're going to do is that we're going to up the cost of renting out the fields by 5%. I'm actually not sure how much it is to rent out the fields at this point. It's just information that I'm going to have to look up. But we're going to up it by 5% because, again, it's just another way to generate revenue for the intramural fields. And it's an increase that will still look appealing to people who are wanting to wanting to rent out the intramural fields, but it won't drive people away that are already like renting out the intramural fields. Like Kings Hammer Soccer, who is one of our like main patrons that we have over the summer, they rent it out all the time and for like their various club soccer teams. And obviously those are customers we don't want to drive away, but we also kind of need more money, so that's one option that we're also going to have, and that's one of the more long-term thing or changes that we're going to have. But also one of the biggest things that we're going to try to implement is we're going to try and have more events during the winter. So the ideas that I had is that we're going to have 5 winter snow days over the summer. I know one of our clients, Ryan, he actually came up with the idea. But I would just like to expand upon it a little further. So we're going to have 5 days over winter break where it snows, hopefully, based on Cincinnati weather. So one of these days it's going to be a snowy flag football tournament. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I used to play football, I used to love playing in the snow. It made it basically a whole entire different game. And like when I knew it was like on a snow during my football game, it's just like, all right, let's go. You get to slip and slide everywhere. It's going to be super fun. So as you know, we already have flag football games down there. So it's basically going to be a giant snowy flag football tournament. And as everyone already knows, we already have like intramural, like fraternity leagues down there, and like intramural leagues, and just everything like that students can all take part in. These events are actually going to have an admission fee. So again, that's another way that generates revenue. And this is obviously an event that everyone wants to take part in. As for the next couple of days, we are going to have 3 different days where we have different obstacle courses set up on the field. So this includes like inflatables, rope climbing. We have army crawl under some like obstacles, as well as jumping over and climbing over other obstacles. I actually did some research on this. There are different places who do like full-on like obstacle course marathons throughout the country. I know they actually do one, I believe, over in Perfect North Slopes over in Indiana. And then this is obviously another way to generate revenue, but this is also an exciting event that people can get excited about and want to come more to the intramural fields, especially in a time when we don't really generate that much business, so we can utilize the fields more. And when it comes to these obstacle courses, the obstacles will change from day to day, so no one will have to like repeat the same thing twice. And then for our 5th day, we are going to have a winter wonderland. We will have an ice rink. If you remember last year, there was actually a ice skating rink out on the SU Plaza. It wasn't like a real ice skating rink, but like there was real like ice skates and people were skating around. And it was just an overall fun time. We're also going to have a light show, a giant snowball fight, because who doesn't like those? And also a machine that pulls you around on a sled. I remember back when I was a kid, like we always used to tie like a sled to the back of a four-wheeler out in the middle of the country, and it would just whip us around everywhere. It was a great time, and I feel like that would really attract people to come down to the intramural fields during the winter. But as you can see, this could be the things that we need to keep things going. Obviously everyone wants to get back to the normal shifts, and the goal is to have the field staffed full time or at all times. If anyone gets hurt, that means people can take care of it, and it also keeps the employees' morale up. Just because obviously this is a great place to work, and it really shows based off what all you guys say. And then also a couple other things is that we won't have to fuse the different groups of employees together, meaning like reps can be reps and supervisors can be supervisors. Let's see, other people, or it can also bring new people into the intramural fields and at the rec center. Just because obviously if we have these new events, it may attract like families who don't necessarily go to NKU and want them to like purchase a membership or a day pass or anything like that. And then also, basically, it fulfills the most obvious goal of this is to make more money for the rec center. So, what actions can we take right now? What would you say, like, is our immediate action plan? So, we can tell the professional staff, like I said, there is a senior leadership team that kind of made this decision. So we can talk to them, try and convince them to do this. We could also start a petition to show interest with staff and customers and students alike. And then also another thing that we can do is just be good employees and good leaders. The better the customer service, the better like customers' experiences are, and that's what always brings them back. And also, it looks good in other areas of college, whereas if you're a student leader, obviously people are going to know, hey, this person works at the rec center down at the intramural fields, let's go hang out with them, and things like that. But yeah, that's basically it for my business proposal, so let's go do this.
One more person.